The defending champions will contest for the bronze medal in the COSAFA Under-20 Youth Championship for the 2020 edition. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming to you live from the world-class venue, the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. It is here where Chipa United play their local football and, of course, their home games. As we look at what exactly has transpired as far as in the tournament final that will be played later on, but today the main focus is in the third place, a playoff between Angola as well as Zambia. Angola went down to Namibia, who then booked themselves a spot in the final. It was a 0-0 stalemate between Mozambique as well as Zambia, and Mozambique through on penalties, and that's what really has set up our final for today between Namibia as well as Mozambique. But now, with this being the final game of the tournament, let's hear from the coaches in terms of what they've thought of the tournament, but even more important, about the players that they now have in terms of continuing on this journey. Coach, how much about today is about salvaging pride for the team?
O que é que nós temos para salvar hoje em termos do nosso orgulho e da nossa imagem?
Bem, como sabe, Angola veio com um trabalho bem concebido para conseguirmos a qualificação. Não fizemos e tentaremos sair daqui pelo menos com o terceiro lugar, que é o que nos resta para subir ao pódio.
First and foremost, we came with the aim of reaching the later stages so that we could qualify for the AFCON. But that wasn't possible, but at least we'll try to finish in the podium.
Let's talk about the team that he's up against today in the defending champions, who also bowed out, but they'll be giving a couple of players a run. Just his planning around this game.
Em relação ao jogo de hoje, nós vamos defrontar o campeão em título, que também vai gerir o seu plantel, vai dar tempo de jogo àqueles menos utilizados. Na sua perspectiva, o que é que planeou para esta?
Bem, nós soubemos de que vamos jogar com o atual campeão da COSAFA, mas nós temos um processo que estamos a desenvolver ao nível da seleção nacional. Nós temos hoje 10 jogadores que fazem parte da Sub-17 que vieram do Mundial, e nós estipulamos que daqui a 2 anos vamos ganhar o campeonato africano. E essa é a nossa ideia, dar ritmo e tempo de jogo também aos jogadores, para que daqui a 2 anos nós conseguimos alcançar esse feito. Esse é o trabalho que estamos a fazer.
Okay. Globally, what we can say, we are aware we are facing a very strong opponent, but we came with a predefined plan in which we brought up 10 players that went to the Brazil World Cup under 17 with the aim of, in 2 years' time, coveting the major trophy in the AFCON for that category, under 20. So that's part of our plan, and we'll make sure we achieve that goal.
Thank you. Coach, take us through the mood currently in camp. After the last game, it did seem like the team was devastated.
Yeah, very difficult. Third and fourth place, because obviously our target was to qualify to the Africa Cup. But what can we do? Life goes on, and in life you have to pick up the pieces and move forward. So it has been difficult, but that's why we are here to motivate them. We have gone through this, and the only thing they can do is to get a win today and come out third. But obviously the bigger picture is gone, but life doesn't end there. They are players, they have to do well in this game. We have to move on. There's tournaments coming in front, so there's nothing we can do, but we are psyched for this game.
You're starting 11 with the changes that you've brought in, Coach. I think for some of them, it's just about allowing them to play in the final game.
Yeah, the most important thing in football, in life, is planning. So there are most of the guys who are going to play today. We know come next year, come maybe 2 years, they still have a chance to play. So planning starts immediately after that loss. We started to plan, because if we sit down and just cry about it, then come the next tournaments, we are not going to have a team. So we have made 5 changes in view that these players, this is the start of another generation for the under-20s, because some, I think they are going to go out, but most of the guys we have started today, it's those players who haven't played a lot of games in this tournament, a lot of minutes, but we are planning for the future. So we have made 5 changes in view that come the next tournaments, we'll be ready for the tournament.
Thank you. All the best.
You're welcome.
And this is how we wrap up the Under-20 COSAFA Youth Championship with the two fixtures. The first one being for the third and fourth classification between Angola as well as Zambia. Now, Angola, they've been in the previous third and fourth place playoff for the past two editions where they've won. But the last time that they met Zambia, it was in 2018 for a place in, or rather when they met in the semi-final, and Angola was able to get through on that particular occasion. Will that be the case? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. In commentary, it is Motlogeleng Kinenda as well as Bafana Mosman.
Well, hello and welcome. Angola versus Zambia, COSAFA Under-20 Youth Championship. Third and fourth place is about to start. Well, a number of things are at stake to look into here. Pride and dignity is at stake, but let's look at the wind speed that is shown on kilometers and temperature on 22 degrees Celsius. So the wind might not affect much in this game because we're in a closed stadium. That is the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium that was built for the World Cup 2010 that was hosted by South Africa. However, we have this game now underway rather. That is the COSAFA Under-20 Youth Championships. And we have Angola up against Zambia in the third and fourth playoffs, rather. Well, whatever it takes now, of both sides, they need to play for the greatest. They need to play for pride and dignity of their country. Well, walking away or going home with a bronze medal would be the greatest thing for each of them. However, not all is lost. I mean, playing in such a big stadium, you then have to just prove yourself and say that I'm up for the task. Should I be called again to play in such a big stadium, I will be able to just play my part and be a team player. And Angolan side, defending champions that bowed out of the tournament on penalties, and it's just unfortunate for them. They couldn't contain it, and they ended up bowing out. And the Angolese coming as a surprise package, just putting pressure, putting attitude up front, and making sure that they stay disciplined and tactically aware throughout their encounter. And now we found them playing these third and fourth place, looking to just maybe getting themselves that bronze medal.
And now, the national anthem of Zambia. And the team of Zambia.
Strong and free, that is. Zambian side just going to look into digging deep and deep into their emotions to just try and cover this hurdle that they are faced with, and it is. Well, it's going to be an interesting one because mix up this time around. There's only one gent in the midst of the ladies, so he will be just watchful in this match. Well, I'm not alone. I've got my colleague, that is Bafana Mosman, who will be just sharing his views about the game that is about to start.
Good afternoon, Motlogeleng. It's a beautiful weather. Two teams that before the campaign took over, they would have been placed to be in the final. 6 changes made by Zambia.
Well, having made changes, that doesn't really change what the mandate is that the likes of Angola will also be looking into solidifying with the squad that they have. Likes of Abdul Bari will be the players that you would want to rather see. How do you then see the Zambian side, Bafana?
Zambian side, they come in here strong. Expect a lot of pace on the wing from Prince Mumba, who's the captain. Jimmy Mukenya plays from the center position up front, so he'll be hoping to add to his tally. Joshua Motale, together with Peter Banda, they'll be hoping to keep that middle of the park very, very tight and solid.
Interesting play in the middle of the park. That is Zambia going to have 3, and Angola will have 4. A bit of congestion, but state of readiness is all up in these players. And off we go. Angola centering from the right, going to the left, and just trying to keep it nice and basic. Well, the Angolese are just a specialist of the third place, so Zambia should keep a watchful eye after having not made the finals. They then now play for the 3rd and 4th place. They're playing against a team that has played for the 3rd and 4th place rather, 2018 and 2019. That is the Angolan side. They might want to make it a trouble and make it in 2020. Maybe Zambia will want to perhaps get that one as a consoler.
Interesting enough, these two teams clashed last year in 2019, but that was in a semi-final stage. Zambia walked away 3-0 victors. See Prince Muomba looking to use his pace earlier on and already looking to settle very quickly. Camilo Ngankwe with the first foul, given in a very good position.
Well, ball is played by Peter Banda, going wide, hoping to get across, but that man, Giovanni Carvalho, is up for a task. Seems to have warmed up very well and up for just any high ball that may come his way. I hope that he's going to be able to sustain it. They've got the height at the back, like of Alidia Garcia and Telsio Tome. It's a ball played wide to that number 19, Jose Cabingano, who's now drilling it in and across and inviting one. The keeper comes out, and the keeper seems to have rather bounced from the player. If the referee was all fair, I would rather say it looked all penalty for me. Benvido Afonso was fouled. If you look at where he was, he made contact with the ball, and the keeper went straight for the player rather than him going for the ball.
I agree there. Keeper went straight for the player, mistimed the ball. Referee should have been positioned much better to really make that call. Keeper is down, looks to have come of bad ones from that challenge against Salvador. Salvador is a big player. He's strong in the air also. on his foot as well. The pitch will allow him really to play the type of football that he likes. There's that incident earlier on. The keeper came and collided with Ambrosini Salvador.
Is rather number 20 from Angola. That is Ambrosini Salvador, who just found himself colliding with this man, Patrick Chuma. Well, I thought maybe Patrick Chuma will be rested, considering that he's played most of the games. Maybe give the other keeper a run of some sort, maybe the first half, just to get a taste and feel. However, we did say that there's a lot to play for. Well, not motivated to go for a warm-up, seeing that his colleague is up. He's just easily walking back to the stand. It's not yet your time. Rather, Patrick Chuma says, I will still carry on and play. The ball is played at the back with Issa Kazembe. He's also adding minutes to his legs. Jose Kabingo is a player who's going to try and push it forward and get those crosses coming from the left back. And if room allows, he gets them right. Maybe Angola will then score an early goal. The high pressing come on from that big man, Makonka Afonso.
Foul given to Zambia. Looking to really settle is Zambia. They're sharing the ball. This pitch allows that free-flowing movement of the ball, easy connecting passes also allows that, and Zambia already using that space. They play a 4-3-3 formation, very offensive-minded, and they're looking to really assault Angola earlier on.
Well, it's all about converting your chances whenever you get them. It's all about creating those chances. Pitch allows to play carpet football. Pitch allows to make those long-range passes. Pitch allows also to keep them short if need be, but it is all up to what the coach has instructed the players to do, and what the players can also be creative with, and what can they take advantage of from their opposition.
Makonka Afonso, his presence there, making it felt, and had Peter Banda had nothing else to do there. Couldn't get to the ball. The big man shielded it nicely, and they get a free kick in a very good area. They can either go direct for goal or even swing it into the box and search for headers. They do have Domingos, they have Salvador, so height is not a concern for the Angolans.
That is Ngangua. He's standing by himself, Camilo, looking to maybe test the keeper. That is the young man from the Serie de Agosto in Angola. Well, number of minutes played, not that much. Wow, he whips it over the defenders, but the flag was up. I think about 3 men already in front of the line, rather. A good timing of the defenders, just keeping that high line and not falling deep to follow the Angolese that were coming in numbers to just try and force them to roll back. And Patrick Chuma won't be bothered by that one, because assistant ref was able to rather pick that one up.
Patrick Chuma again comes out, doesn't collect cleanly. Again, the referee comes to his assistant. He hasn't conceded a goal in open play so far for Zambia, is Patrick Chuma, but he'll be hoping that he can gain more confidence and settle his nerves early.
Zambia with the strike, and he's upright. Oh my goodness, what a test there. The keeper almost saw flames. Joshua Mutale wouldn't put it past him, eh? He's got the technique, and if you give him the room, he finds the pockets. He's most likely going to punish you. He's most likely going to upset you. The keeper was just lucky there. And well, the offside came from the follow-up, rather. And because his shot at goal was onside just before the defenders. So basically that flag was up for the follow-up run. And good call by the referee, assistant referee, rather, Clarice Simango from Zimbabwe. We say you keep your eyes very wide open. Madam, go pushing. It seems to be a given. Is that man Alidia Garcia, who's pushing this tiny man. That is Jimmy Mukeya. But if you know that Jimmy is not tiny, he's got some strength within his tiny body, rather. He just knows how to use his body. Every time he has a player on him coming behind, he's a very good protector of the ball too. And he scored 2 goals, maybe in the chase of the top goal scorer award. If he maybe scores a 3rd goal, a 4th one, and he'll pass the current top goal scorer, that is Sinenjong Mkiva from South Africa. A set piece going for goal, but too much height, too much venom coming from that man at the back. That is Peter Chikola.
Motali, they play with confidence at the Zambians. Saw the keeper and looked at him once, and he knew what he wanted to do second time. He placed that connected with the ball with intent and knew what he wanted to do and did just that.
And I can tell you that Joshua Mutale has been testing keepers. Testing keepers in a number of games, and he's been doing remarkable, and he's been taking wonderful shots. So wouldn't put it past him, but it was unfortunate for them. They not in the finals. A ball played in, a keeper there grabs it, and just a bit of a wobbly. Nothing to trouble him because there was no pressing. Now talk about pressing. Here's this man Makonga Afonso putting so much pressure towards the keeper. That is Patrick Chuma after a very sloppy pass coming from Isa Kazembe. A ball swung long to try find Afonso. It seems to be not at the right place at the right time. Andrew Piri will be driving it in, but intercepted. And again, there's that man Ngangue who tries to take on Piri on the run, and knowing that Prince Mumba is a player with a character and aggression, and forever fighting to rather keep the ball with him.
Struggling there to really get to the end of the ball. In the end, he is fouled. Is the captain. Benito Afonso is the man that did the deed. But you will see how Zambia are looking to get into this game. They're not waiting to get into the box. They are happy and comfortable and very confident shooting from just outside the box. So Angola will definitely need to look at how they can try and contain the Zambians. They've got some Songa, Mukeya, as well as Kapukesa and Motale as well, with confidence on there. And we've seen what Prince Mumba can do. Won the player of the match in the last game for his consistency and shooting from distance.
Well, it's all about aggression and not giving room whenever opponents are coming at you. That is Alidia Garcia. That's forever just putting his body and stretching his long legs to block the position from taking those shots. He's rather a security at its best, and alert, I'm sure, for skill coming from that man, Ambrosini. He's just confidence. I can only say he's getting better by day. Game by game, you see a different Ambrosini. Salvador. Ball swung to the further side. But the sun seems to be coming out. It could play a part in slowing down the tempo of the game, the pace of the game, considering that the pitch was not watered earlier today, maybe because it drizzled the night before. So watering an AstroTurf, then you'd be dealing with a very nippy AstroTurf and playable surface. So you'd rather keep it as is.
The type of pitch that this is, if it's too wet, the ball just skids off and you can't really take. And shots from distances also become tricky for either of the goalkeepers to deal with. It's conditions that allow free-flowing football with how it is at this stage.
Free-flowing football is what we want to see. And this match, especially these young stars who really have put in the work. I mean, it's been how many days of them just battling it out. It started with so many nations, and we're down to 4 now. And at 3 p.m. we're then going to see the big one, a decider with who is rather taking the trophy home. But between these two teams, one is looking into perhaps getting that bronze medal. Rather, the match is at 15:30, not at 1500. My apologies there for getting you early on your seat. Oh, you still have time to get some popcorn to watch that. Rather a movie, rather an extravagant, rather a match that has never set before in this championship. A match that has never, two teams rather, not a match, that have barely seen the final. It's their turn now, and it's all about Mozambique, and it's all about Namibia. Oh, the corners, Angola sitting on 1 and Zambia on 0. Oh, nicely in a swinger. Keeper comes out, still doesn't make that touch. Saved by his teammate, that is Matthews Shabalala. Oh, today he's missing his partner in crime, that is Golden Mafeto, who was a long-range passer, and the coach decides to rather bring in Isa Kazembe to just give him a run and maybe test him on this big pitch.
The goalkeeper coming out again, not able to connect. He will really need to get his decision-making to the point because he's got height up front that he's going to be dealing with from the Angolans. And at every set-piece situation, Angolans will be sending their big men forward. So he needs to really make sure that his decision-making is up to standard. They get a free kick, they take it quick.
Oh, very clumsy tackle there from the center. Benvido Afonso, who just clips him from the back. And Chipioka Songa is also having his first minute. Now here's Angola on a counter-attack on the left-hand side. You see he getting a cross in. But, this man, Matthews Shabalala, puts his body to just protect Aaron, and he finds that man, Shimi Mukeya. That is a pass wasn't that much of powerful, lacks a bit of speed. Again, it's Angola trying to penetrate from the wing play because the center seems to be congested, and Zambian side is just having a lot of numbers in that center. Now here's a cross swung in. Still this man, Matthews Shabalala, who gives away a corner. Well, had no choice. The ball had some bit of pace and rather be safe than try to be offensive.
No choice at all. He had the likes of Barry to deal with. Apprentice overlapped nicely and tried to get that one into the box earlier on. Now they win a corner. Can they use it?
A bit of mixed marking by Zambia, having a lot of numbers, making sure that they can match what Angola has brought into their box and how they can rather defend and not concede a goal. I can tell you one thing, they would want some sort of consolation, and we don't wish to see them in penalties this time around. They would rather just battle it out in this 90 minutes as there won't be any extra time. Throw in for Zambia coming from that man, Ambrosini Salvador, was trying to press high, but seems to be later on forced to sit back because of the numbers that Zambia have going forward. Taking with 3, and here's that man, Peter Banda.
Elliot Kampukesi rather, did well on there to try and keep it, but it is Abrantes that recovered well to ensure that he gets it out of danger. Won a free kick, an opportunity for them to clear their defenses, maybe go on a assault. They look great when they come forward, is Angola. They use their wings. As you've said, the midfield is a bit congested, and they use a lot of their wings.
Ball played to Matthews Shabalala, the centre back, who's had quite a few, rather not a few, he's played pretty much all the matches because he's played all 4 games. That's equivalent to 360 minutes on his legs. That's one of the players that you'd perhaps see soon in the senior national team. Having conversed with the coaches, is one of the players they rather have to keep a watchful eye on him because he's a promising young centre back. Ball intercepted by that man Domingos Andrade from Angola in the centre. Also one of the players who've been quite instrumental in the Angolese side and forever communicating with his teammates and forever solid. Well, referee speaks to that man, a specialist in getting yellow cards and getting some tongue lashing from the referee because he has 2 yellow cards. So clearly on the final, the yellow cards are scrapped because the rules are saying after 2 yellow cards, you then sit out. But here's a chance for Camilo trying to tuck in, but not having full force of that ball, but a strike, and yes, it sits as a goal. There was a protest for a penalty initially, but this man went on and on. That is Benfido Afonso profiting from that ricochet and lack of alertness coming from Zambia. Really saw them conceding this goal against this man. That is Benfido Afonso.
Initially played it nicely into the box. A great run from Ngongwe. Looks to find support, laid it off for the oncoming running Afonso. Deflections, the goalkeeper had read it well there, but a deflection from the defense unfortunately costed the team with Kazembe's deflection. The goalkeeper not able to get to it. So they strike first are the Angolans, and they lead so far in a 3-0 by last year.
There's a goal inside in search of a goal, and this man Ngangwa, that is Camilo, didn't give up, puts in the work, puts in the pace, and he chases the ball. He's just the player you would rather just say your work rate, mate, is somehow good because he put in the pressure. He was losing the ball at some point, but able to just poke it to Benfido, and Benfido was just there to lace it. And I can tell you something, fresh legs, Isa Kazembe would have done better, but wasn't expecting it to rather bounce off of him, and it goes the opposite direction of Patrick Chuma. Should be a worrying factor for Mutapa Peri, who really wouldn't want to go out without putting a fight, especially a defending champion like Zambia. Oh, you've missed out on an opportunity now to the Mauritania, and you just have to fight for some bit of bronze, something to take home.
bronze is something to walk away with. Pride and your head held up high is the other. A battle for dignity and also supremacy has not been attained by both of these teams. If you look at the form coming into this tournament, both these teams would have been looked at as favorites to go into the final. They did have their opportunity, but didn't make it work.
I think it's all about putting a twist in it. If we were to say, I called it and said, should Namibia win, then Mozambique will win. Had Angola won, maybe Zambia would have won. Here's a chance for Makonka, but he's well offside, and the referee on the far end says, Petros Mzigaifani, as you are well offside, mate. You'd rather just come a bit up, because he times him very well. Can tell you that it all started with nations wanting to represent themselves in this beautiful tournament and the championship, but it just didn't come right. The likes of South Africa, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, that were on Group A and Group B. We saw Zambia and Namibia being the two teams qualifying. I mean, Namibia being the best losers and best runners-up, rather, and then finding themselves now being in the final, which is a very interesting story to be told. And it's all up to them now. If they want to clinch it, they want to take it home. Oh, in their group, they had Malawi, Comoros, who really bowed out very early in the tournament. And Group C, Angola, Eswatini. And so those group really had only 3 teams, so they rather played 2 games instead of them playing 3 games. And Angola were the country to advance to the next round, and just unfortunate for them in the semis. They then bowed out. Here's the man who deflected the ball, that is Isa Kazembe.
25 minutes gone, Angola leading by a goal to nil. They've really been solid. They've really kept Zambia in their back part, so they'll be hoping that they can continue to enforce dominance and authority over their counterparts. Zambia only make it to this stage for the 5th time this time around, having failed to defend their title they've won last year. And for Angola, this is their 3rd time in a row that they find themselves here. They really hoped to go on and maybe lift the trophy that has eluded them on a few occasions.
Well, can safely say hope goes to a certain extent. Sometimes you just gotta put in the work, you gotta put in the spirit, and just make sure that everything that you do is towards you scoring goals. And a cooling break for the 2 sides. Maybe the Zambian side will then get to be briefed by the coach and say, look, forget about the goal, let's go find our own goal. Well, wind speed is at 21 kilometers an hour. Temperature sitting at 23 degrees Celsius. I must say that for the Zambian side, they would want to come back into this one. They would want to put in a twist in this game and just upset the Angolese. Here's that goal, Bafana.
It started with the throwing from Kambingano. A lead headed off, and things seemingly worked out for the Angolans. Quick play, looked for support in the box, and had a second opportunity to find Afonso, and a deflection from Kazembe beat his own goalkeeper. Headed read well, it looks like, is Patrick Koma, but it wasn't to be when it bounced off his defender.
Well, deflection or no deflection, he had the venom coming from his boot, and he just struck it right. No height to it, just had a low. As is Benvito Afonso, who saw an opportunity, and he just grabbed it with both hands. A star player, that is number 10. You would want that from
Zambia will be hoping to get back into this game and maybe get a goal before the time is up. They still have about 16 minutes to play to try and level this matter and come back from the change room and make it a clash that will be worth watching in the second half. It's a third and fourth playoff right here at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. It's exciting so far.
Third and fourth playoffs with a lot of at stake and something to get the players going into their own teams. That is, you'd rather want to go back with a medal with you and just say we had put in the work. It's just unfortunate we couldn't bring back the trophy that we had took to South Africa and tried to defend it. We were just unfortunate this time around. Ball on Ambrosini Salvador finds that man that chose there, Chibangano. Now he strikes again. Seems like there's always a test that is coming from the Angolese. Patrick Schuma will just have to shout at his teammates and say that they seem to be exploiting you, creating some sort of spaces and then taking those shots. Can you rather kill the supply? Can you rather intercept it? Okay, Angola again on the front foot with this man Ambrosini. Already there's his teammate trying to just lay it back on. There's Camilo Ngangue. I can tell you there's a bit of a pace coming from this Angolan side. Well, I had a conversation on with a colleague of mine and I said, I can only see Zambia dominating here. However, it's just a different story. A twist has been put in it. Has been Angola rather dominant in the last 30 minutes of this match.
It is a numbers game in the middle of the park. That's where Angola are much more dominant. They play with 4 players versus 3 that of Zambia. So they have a man advantage, and the presence of Andrade alongside Afonso has really seen the Angolans dominate the middle of the park. Again, we see Andrade trying to cut out the danger that is being created by Patrick Mumba, much to the applause of Coach Sabrino.
Haven't seen much of Patrick Mumba. That seems to be not given room to play. Angola just there to exploit the spaces, force themselves in the box most of the time. You can see now. So Angola in the opponent's box, in the opponent's half. Well, we've only seen Giovanni Carvalho saving a ball maybe twice. Seems to be Makonka Afonso having a knock. So opted to rather sit down and get some medical assistance. And the referee says the stretcher can come on to the pitch as well to try and get him out. Could be maybe to get himself some time. He's been putting in the run. He's been making those runs, just unable to rather come right. Well, he seems to have a strapped hamstring, and it's rather reacted earlier than he thought it would react. So now he's about to walk out and see if he cannot be assisted. Bafana, hopefully he returns in this one.
He came into this game with a tight hamstring. You can see the heavy bandaging around it. So it may be now giving him problems earlier than he thought, as you said. But they've got options on the bench. They can bring on Gastao and they can bring on firepower up front. He will obviously be hoping that he can carry on with the game. It's his first start.
Here's a chance again from that man Ambrosini. We've seen him, Bafana, just making those runs, wanting to take those crosses, and also one who's got the appetite to rather take the shots at goal if he's given the room. I'll say to you that you were mentioning that there are options on the bench. Would you want to rather waste them now or rather wait for the second half and see what Zambia are bringing in store for you? Because an early substitution really sometimes would slow down the pace that was already built by the team.
It's a physical game between the two countries against Salvador. They're coming second best from the challenge from Patrick Mumba. You talk about substitutions. They have 5 substitutions they can use in this game, and with everything but pride to play for and a bronze medal, so you don't really want to use them too early. You want to see how Mukonka, how far more, how much he can still give you in this game. And he's since come back on and he's seeming ready to continue. They'll have a look at him at halftime.
Well, it's a good thing that he's back on because he keeps those 2 centre backs at bay. That's for Matthews Shabalala. Don't push too high too much because he's forever keeping them right there alongside Isa Kazembe. The Andrew Piris now are forced to sit back, and knowing that Andrew Piri is one person with the bike to just run the line, he gets himself closer to the final third. He gets those crosses. Haven't seen that coming from him. And it's Peter Chikola, who's fresh legs, hoping we'll see that, especially that deep bench. That's a young man, John Chisima, to then introduce Peter Chikola. And fresh legs, not bad. And, good yellow card given to Ambrosini Salvador for that incident there. Coming from behind with a late tackle and clipping that man Prince Mumba.
Well, looking to dominate the middle of the park, sees Salvador dropping slightly to add numbers in the middle of the park, but that didn't work in his favor this time around. He was too late on that tackle against Mumba. He'll be hoping that he doesn't make the same mistake again because it was far from danger.
Andrew Piri finally finds himself putting in a cross, and it's just unfortunate. But we're talking about this young man that he gets there and he gets those crosses right. This time around, he almost crossed it into goal. No, it's all about defending, but pass coming from that side. Abdul Paris is not the greatest to find Makonka Afonso. It's a worrying factor for Zambia that they create his chances, but conversion is still missing. In search of their first attempted goal. Rather not a attempted goal, but their first goal in this match. Good interception coming from this man, Benvido Afonso, to find that big man, that is Ambrosio Salvador, and he says, I will profit from that. They must give credit where it's due. I can tell you, Angola are just on a different level of attitude. They want this more than any other team. Patrick Ichuma has been seeing the most. And Angola, I can say, Hafana, had we had that bet, you'd be taking my money now. I can tell you that.
Again, it's the scorer of the first goal, finding Salvador. Salvador with confidence, a striker that he is, doesn't need second invitation. Buries it into the back of the net. It gives Angola the much needed advantage in this game. 37 minutes gone, and it's Angola that lead by 2 goals.
You know, an interesting change that Mumba comes up. When that name is mentioned, a lot of our colleagues rather put a smile on their face, and we mention Mumba, and Rato Pajos and Tabangs and the Van and you know, just to mention a few. That's a very interesting name that we love is a production.
Mumba comes in to solidify the middle of the park. That's where they've really lost the battle, where Angola has been dominant. They've been assaulting them there a lot. So Peter Banda not doing enough to keep that man Andrade quiet in the middle of the park.
I can tell you that foul is in a dangerous zone. I could have ushered him out, guide him out, maybe. Level of excitement is getting to Domingos Andrade. He could have rather just monitored him and just gave him that guide to the bar line, force him to stay out. Well, it's a set piece for Zambia. They look into rather converting this one. Hopefully Giovanni Cavallo will be tested with this set piece. There seems to be numbers in the box brought in by Angolan side, having all 9 players back in their box.
Will be interesting to see how they take this one. An in-swinger, a direct or shot at goal. It's also possible.
You know, it's all about making a good use of a set piece that could maybe lift your spirits a little bit. That is Zambia. And now still trying something from the training ground with Andrew Upiri now moving away from that set piece. Now played low, intercepted by that man. Oh, I can tell you, Benvido Afonso reads those passes very well, intercepts them. It's the second time. The first time he intercepted and created a goal-scoring opportunity for Ambresino Salvador. Now he saves his team from conceding, rather, from a troubling set piece. It is Elliot Campuseka. I haven't heard much of him. Came on as a sub in a previous match, but this one started with it. So hopefully he's going to play the whole 90 minutes. Ball with Matthews Shabalala to that number 5, Peter Chikola, who then finds another man, Chipuaka Songa. Ball swung in. Communication was not the greatest between this man and his keeper. Oh, he was saved by the covering of the first pole. That is Telso Tome. Corner kick is taken by this man. Is gonna test Giovanni Cavallo. Well, it's played quick, and I think to rather bother the keeper. Coming from Matthews Shabalala.
Matthews Shabala going up front on overlap, looking to try and add numbers into that box. Coming up just to head up the free kick. They get a second corner consecutively. This time on the near side, can they use it to full good use? It remains to be seen.
And it's a set piece. They've got the height. It's height versus height, because Aledia Garcia also has the height. A ball swung in, a good call from the keeper, and just using the right arm to get it to what's the opposite direction. Oh, had he not done that, you would have seen Matthews Shabalala and Isa Kazembe closing in on that one and just cushioning it into the net. And now it's a corner on the other side of the pitch with this man, Joshua Mutale, to try and get an in-swinger. That's started high and low, but still targeting that first ball. Who's there to intercept that ball? It is Benvido Afonso. Again, he's on the back. Dominguez Andrade, rather. He's a foul and seems to be rolling and rolling. If you know of a particular TV advert, oh, don't have to mention the name, is one of those.
Rolling Stones.
Well, could be that, and you rather watch too many movies, Bafana. Listen, a 17-year-old who's been an instrumental player for the team.
Andrade was looking to come away with the ball, really ran hard on them and was clipped by Peter Chikola, trying to get back into his defensive areas. No yellow card there for him, but will certainly get a tongue lashing. Has been strong in the middle of the park is Domingos Andrade. Throughout the tournament, led with head and shoulders above and led from the front is the Angolan captain. Gets some much needed treatment outside of the, just outside on the touchline.
As a player who's already played 3 games in this tournament, so he would look into wanting to finish this tournament with a bang, and chances are there because the young man from Interclub de Angola would rather want to go back home with a medal, some motivation of some sort. Well, we did say that 2018 they were the 3rd place winners, and 2019 again. Well, they seem to be comfortable with collecting those bronze medals. Can they rather next year get the monkey off their back and just find themselves in the finals after a longest time? Well, you could safely say you're on the right track, but you could simply try and qualify for the championship, rather the AFCON championship. Well, this year it's out of the picture for you guys. It's Mauritania, 2 countries will be heading there. That is Mozambique and Namibia. No, first of a kind for Mozambique after a very long time, and they'll be a very proud nation.
Again, another free kick given away, and an opportunity for Kampukesi as well as the defense to clean up on them. Kambingano with that leg stretched out and clipped Kampuseki, who was trying to add numbers in defense. Formation has been changed for Zambia. It's a 3-4-3 now, trying to balance the middle of the park.
Or you rather still stick with a 3 that they have, and perhaps push Peter Chikola to rather stay with them up front in the center, rather, because there's not much work coming from him, and you allow Chipioka Songa to just usher that line all the way through. Now here's a man who's been quiet in this game. That is Prince Mumba, and referee says it is already out, Prince Mumba. And I don't know why I'm saying Peter. Oh, well, it was a Peter Panda. It is a teammate who went out. Seems to be not having the greatest mindset. Oh, this is a very lucky challenge from this man, Aledia Garcia. If I was Prince Mumba, would have just thrown myself on the leg and gotten a penalty. Sometimes you gotta play smart, gotta play tricky. Now, well, 45 minutes has gone by, and the referees have added 3 minutes on the clock to just say, let's see what you guys have in store in the remaining 3 minutes. It seems like Zambia is still sitting in their box, and I can tell you that it will take a lot to motivate this team and to bring them to life, resuscitating their mental ability, rather their strength, and just bring them into the game zone, how they can come back and score the 2 goals or force the game to penalties if they don't get themselves a 3rd goal. well, not all is lost. I mean, if it's scored 2 goals in the first half, they can score 2 goals on the second half.
Free-flowing movement of football. That's how Angola like to play it. They really don't get it out of dangers by launching a long ball. They just play it out nicely. And the referee is going to go into her book and will pull out a card against Prince Mumba. Tried to hack him the first time, couldn't get it. The second time he got it right against
Prince Mumba, man who loves these yellow cards. I can tell you, his last 2 games, he's been collecting a card in each and every game. Well, this is the last game, so counting cards won't really matter unless he gets that straight red. Referee says it's all in. I've seen enough. Let us rather go to the change room. Well, Zambia will rather go to the change room and have a lengthy chat, a stressing chat with their coach and get to hear what he has to say and how they can come back into this match. It's been a tough one for Zambia without them scoring a goal and Angola scoring 2. A number of chances where we thought Zambia would rather take advantage. At a long-range shot from Joshua Mutale really looked promising. But the rebound was already deemed offside because a man that Jimmy Mukeya was just offside.
They started strong on the Zambians. They dominated the game in the opening 10 minutes. But it was Angola that really came back strong and made it count.
Making it count is all that matters in this match. Oh, here's a goal-scoring opportunity again coming from Camilo, who then drops it for that teammate. And Benvido Afonso was just ready to strike that one into goal. Well, the deflection might have set the keeper off, but you must give credit to the strike.
Credit to the strike, indeed. It had a lot of power, precision, and direction on it.
It's all about giving power, and that powerful man, Makonka Afonso, creating another goal-scoring opportunity by finding Jose Cabaningo, who then took a shot and towards a goal, but just too much height on it and couldn't get it right. Andrew Upiri was one of the players who got the upright again, and rather the crossbar. Couldn't score that one. Benvido Afonso was able to find his teammate Ambrosini Salvador after intercepting that ball, and selfishly so lays it for Ambrosini Salvador, who then finds himself slotting away from the keeper. Well, keeper had committed to it. It was already late. Maybe had he timed his runs earlier, it would have been a different story. Well, statistics of the match can tell you that ball position, we'll look into that later. Call attempts was 6 versus 4. The number of fouls are just even. And now, ever ball position was still dominating by Zambia, but Angola are just taking it away.
I am with Dr. Tulane Ngwenya, the CAF medical officer appointed to oversee, and of course the chief medical officer of the competition. Doc, thank you so much for joining us. Let's start with the requirements that the teams need to meet in terms of participating in this tournament.
Thank you very much, Lerato. To South Africa, which is a test that was supposed to be done 72 hours before they arrive in our shows. And then before they start their first match, they were supposed to also test for COVID-19 and produce a negative PCR result. That was the requirement for them to actually enter into the bubble.
Since the resumption of local football and of course some continental football, let's talk about now the cooling break and the purpose that they serve.
Yeah, well, the cooling break was introduced because not because it was hot, but it was introduced because we had a short period of preparation after a detraining of about 6 months or so. So now in terms of the preparation and muscle preparation or physical conditioning of the players, it was important for them to actually have this water break, because it was actually helping in terms of recovery and making sure that they rehydrate and to avoid muscle injuries. That is why it was important to have this cooling break.
The importance of such competitions in a development phase in terms of longevity for some of these football players, the key role?
Yeah, well, these competitions are quite important because we are looking into the future. This is part of development, and for these competitions to actually take place with the right people in the right age group, it's actually important for the continent and for our region, because then if we produce good results and good teams that are actually qualifying to go to the AFCON, then it's good preparation for those players and good experience for those players, so that in the future they actually do well for their own continent and for their own country.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's all back in the field. Well, I can tell you that Zambian side are looking into bringing that Mr. Bulaya. He's got a very interesting name. This young man, Derek Bulaya, came on as a sub for Derek. That's for Jimmy Mukeya rather, but this time around he's coming on for Elliot Campuseka, who's had a quiet first half. Maybe the coach then says, let me rather start with my attack forces and let's just get my back rolling. And here we go again. It's the second half, and Zambia will want to then find themselves scoring a goal early. And you can see Angola 2 goals up, so they don't mind sitting in and waiting for Zambia to come at them. Already a fullback is rolling the ball for Peter Chikola, who gets a cross in. Denied cross by Porfirio Albarantase. That is them inside. They get themselves a third corner of the match, and the first one in the second half is Prince Mumba, who's shown quite an emotional side of him. Our ball headed away by the big man himself, but Prince Mumba is still on it. He finds that man, Peter Chikola, still unclear. Zambia can still take those chances until this man, Giovanni Cavallo, is like, let's rather stop this tennis we playing.
Zambia starting strong again in the second half, bringing in a goal scorer and in Derek Bulaya. Intentions very clear. They want to get back into this game as far as goals are concerned, dominating in the early stages of the second half. I can tell you now we can expect an exciting second half with both teams going at each other. A very open game, no one really defending, everyone going out for blood. It's going to be exciting.
Well, you've got substitutions that take and make good use of. The Martin Njobzus of this game. And Patrick Kondwe and Chisimba. The player you would maybe say go in there and throw your body in, because you seem to be getting the crosses right. Bulaya is just unhappy with something, and can tell that his facial expression is a bit of a sad one, a bit of a beefy one, should we say. The young man wanted to start with the game. Prince Mumba to take that corner kick. This is the fourth one. This time, can he get it right? Goes for a cheeky, rather a cheeky one. And that man, number 10, Benvido Alfonso, has been intercepting, killing those short passes. He reads them well. He's just there to upset Zambia, to destroy their passing. Now he's forcing him to come out, and smart move coming from that young man, Ambrosini. Now a ball played in, but keeper says, clearly grabbed that one at its best height. Now kept in with a stylish pass to find Jose Chivangano. So Angola again in the front foot, trying to get a through ball for that man Makonka Afonso. But unlucky, they weren't able to get it right. Again, start from the back for Angola after putting pressure, intercepting those passes from the back. Now here's a header that is gone wrong. That man unleashes a shot, and I wasn't expecting it. That is Patrick Chuma is still in disbelief that they really giving room for those such shots.
Basics got it right, get the body behind the ball. A powerful strike from Mokonka Alfonso, and he did well there, did Chuma. Didn't do anything fancy, and gives his side an opportunity to recover in defense. A referee again calling, trying to lay down the law in the middle of the box, telling everyone else that, listen, my eyes are wide open, my cards are in my pocket. If you do that again,
He's a very engaged man, Patrick Chuma. And cross played shot to Jose Cavanino. Oh, a good cross put in, but the flag is up. Flag is up. Cannot be a goal. Lady says it cannot sit. And a 3-man already offside. And
Kabingano, good work from him. Got it early into the box, found the man. Unfortunately, Tome didn't look at the line of defense, and he was in an offside position.
And get it at a better view. A pass coming from El Capitano Domingos Andrabe. Finding that man who's enjoying that far side. So Andaki getting a cross in as Camilo Ngangue. Here's that ball played long. I'll say that referees and assistant ref. Well, it is a offside straight on. Player pulled out of on time there, so he does sit as an offside. It looked like it was an offside, but a player that is the number 5, rather, Peter Chikola, was quickly to jog out while the ball wasn't played. And when it was played, the players are already offside. That is Telso Tome. And again, Chikola, who's getting a cross in, or cross to goal, finding the players. Is becoming a stylish thing for Zambia.
Sabrina will be happy that his side still lead by a good 2 goals to 0, but Zambia are looking hungry in the second half, and if they get that 1 goal, will really make it an interesting game even more, will raise the stakes even more, so it will be lovely to watch all around the football they're playing, both these teams.
Chikola plays it back to Matthews Shabalala, back to Chikola, impressed by that man Makonka Alfonso. He was an injured man earlier on at first half, was dealing with his hemi, but seems to be fine now. He's still up for a task, still up for that tussle between him and Shabalala and Isa Kazemba. Patiently building up from Mumba, and a player who's quite a solid passer of note, and pass played to Prince Mumba, but unable to rather win that one. Shabalala with a pass with no direction. Still the Zambian side adding numbers, and Mukeyas just finding each other there. He's unable to rather get it, eventually being to their advantage. Goal kick is given.
A game of biceps and triceps, shoulder to shoulder charges. Strong are both these players, and they're really looking at going at each other. But it is Zambia that are really dominating in terms of ball possession, with Angola trying to plug the holes in the back so that they remain tight and they stick to the advantage of a 2-goal lead.
The ball with Benvido Afonso, and intercepted by Mumba, who then unleashes a pass to Prince Mumba, and Mukeya just with a back heel to try and find Peter Chikola. You can tell you since Mumba has come onto the park, I've seen the likes of Prince Mumba coming out of their shell now, being more mobile, being more active, being more involved in the ball, and it's just his movements are forever timing. And now here's a penalty. Definitely it is a a penalty without a doubt. Referee just walking towards the player and saying that yes, it's a penalty, and showing of stars. You could hear from the sound of the boots, and that there was that foot collusion, and the players ushering, or rather rushing to the referee. Here's that one from behind. No intentions to play the ball. He clipped him there.
Late tackle from Domingos Andrade. He gets his side under pressure by giving away a penalty. A good start for Zambia in the opening 10 minutes in the second half. They've piled on the pressure, forced a mistake. Now they have a penalty. Referee was well positioned to spot that, and a late tackle on by Andrade.
Virtuous Mzigaifani Mbingo from Eswatini stood firm, and just watch the players as they came to try and intimidate him. He was never intimidated at all. I can see some Robocop type of a position coming from that man. Oh, the task is with you, Giovanni Carvalho. Can you save the team? Can you rather keep the score as is? And Carvalho is up against a young star. He's also looking into reviving the team. And can he rather bring the team to life? Right, and referee says there's a chance and a power on it, and keeper went to the right direction, but Mumba was able to put good height and power on that ball to beat Giovanni Carvalho.
Packed power behind the ball, knew what he wanted to do it when he stepped up. A keeper guessed right, but enough power for it, not for the keeper to get close to him. It is 2-1 now. It is all to play for. Keeps it interesting for the neutrals and for football lovers.
So we're getting an equalizer for Zambia, then force the game to penalties. If a third goal is nothing, that looks promising. But an equalizer is possible. If Anola drops the ball, so for Domingo Andrade, we'll be looking into bringing back that A game into this match and maybe try and get a third goal. A one-goal lead is never the safest. Ball played quick by that man, Matthews Shabalala, who finds Bulaya. Still a set piece in favor of Zambia, just getting closer and closer into the opponent's final third.
Difference between the two teams is that when Zambia has the ball closer to the 18 area, they are not afraid to take shots. Well, for Angola, they try and get inside into the 18 area instead of taking shots from a distance.
Well, there was a bit of a pulling came from there, and Angolan players still don't believe that. But the arms around Prince Mumba's shoulders. And keeper should be now on high alert, on serious communication with his defenders, with his midfielders, because that one goal could bring back the Zambian team. And you wouldn't want that when you're Angola, after doing so much, after putting so much work, and just scoring the first two goals. You then don't want to concede a second goal to lead into a draw, and a draw that could really not go for too long. Maybe Zambia will be highly motivated to try and get a third goal, and for Angola that should be a worrying factor. He seems to be losing concentration, committing fouls in the danger zones. Andrew Piri stands over that ball alongside his teammate Peter Chikola. So both full-backs are just ready to make sure that they punish the keeper. There's a chance for Andrew Piri going for goal. Too much height on it. The whole idea was there that Chikola would run over the ball, and then Rupiri who then slice it into goal. There's that initial, rather, a foul that happened to Prince Mumba.
Had a good idea there, strike at goal, force a keeper to do a save, but there's players that went up 90 meters or so in trying with hope that they can get their head to that ball. Really needed to work it out on how to take it and use the height advantage that you've got.
Well, substitutions coming from Angola now. They just resting players. Had a good run. That is Abdul Malik Dakonsiasho of Paris, replaced by Antonio Maunza. Seems to be going for a semi-defensive, rather midfield, which is not the smartest way, as Antonio versatility defensively and offensively. He will be much more instrumental, because you'd really want to have him assisting at the back and being able to be mobile going forward. That is rather offensively. A short strike, and a protest by big man Domingos Andrade, requesting for a handball. Game still in Angola's position with the ball. That's shuffling across the frame of goal. A newly man, that is Antonio. That's guided out and guided out by two men. That's in front of the ball, not wanting to give away any position or any room for him to make those shots. And Antonio was rather denied a chance to take a shot at goal. Still with Joshua Mutale. Has been quiet in this the second half. Finding the big man who came in as a sub. That is Bulaya. It was a protest for a handball. That is rather ambitious from Zambia. The big man who came in as a sub is dishing them out and finding his teammates. And this man Camilo Ngangue is on the back and cuts it back in, but insufficient numbers of players in that area, and a strike coming from Antonio Maunza. Seems to be bringing a different energy, a different style of play. That is Antonio Maunza.
They call him Maestro because he's very creative. We've seen him already spraying a pass onto the wide side, getting himself into space and taking the shot at goal. Lots of positive football coming from Antonio Mwanza's substitution.
Now he has a situation there, putting each other under pressure. And as Alidia Garcia not being able to hear Giovanni Cavallo, his keeper, with that incident, but still safe. Now here's a man at Mutale trying to get himself crossing that ball into play. It is well monitored. This young man, Joshua Mutale, has been able to rather get the cross in to find the two men up front. That is Derek Bulaya and Jimmy Mukeya, who's also got the support of Chipioka Songa. Still Angola on the ball with that main man, Ambrosini Salvador. Still the new man, Antonio. A bit of skill coming from Antonio, a bit of energy and confidence coming from him. Not afraid to just guide this game and not give room to Zambia. And if they have an interest in scoring. The man Ambrosini is Salvador. There's been a nerve in the years of Zambia. Oh, substitution is happening here. Angola just invited out Prince Mumba And they're bringing on that number 10. Who then just get that armband. That is Patrick Kondwe. He's also just been making a lot of substitution entries in this tournament. And if you rest Prince Mumba, a young and emotional young star that was. Now here's a pressure coming here from Antonio Mauza. He's very relaxed and just taking too much time and releasing the ball, and Zambia already added about 6 players behind the ball. He should have played it earlier to that man, Camilo Ngungwe, who was right down here on the right-hand flank. Still Zambian side trying to push forward and maybe switch play to try and get Peter Chikola to get closer in the box, because the numbers that Angola have sitting back in their half are really not allowing the likes of Joshua Mutale to play, Patrick Kondwe to play, and the Mumbas, what we know, struggling. Ball played long to try find Bulaya, but he meets his match with that big man, Alidia Garcia, who's just guiding Mr. Bulaya at the back and not yet getting those chances he wants. The man down is Domingos Andrade. He's got himself punched by that man, who now brings out the blow-by-blow boxing skills. That is Dragrik Bulaya. You might have not seen that one.
Two teams cancelling each other out, matching each other strength for strength, pound for pound, going at each other, really giving each other the best that they've got. It's exciting to watch this type of football. Overhead conditions allow it. It's beautifully sunny, no wind at all. You know, and under conditions are also lovely. They allow the free passing football.
Oh, show of sorts, and assistant ref having a flag up and just not happy with that one. Also, Razes Benvido Afonso being too much aggressive. It seems to be frustrating the coach. It seems to be affecting the coach. Cross is played in to try and find Bulaya, who's unable to get it right, and Salvador is the man to win that one, trying to get on a counter. Still Angola just on the back, and Jose Caba, that is Cabingango, he couldn't be in his balance and eventually he fell off.
Kabingano there should have looked to stay up and try to move. The Zambian bench will be happy with what they're seeing so far, looking positive from their players. They are looking to get that second goal and try and restore parity in this match, fight it all out right up until the end and go on to the lottery of penalties. They'll be hoping to walk away with something as the Zambians.
There's a first touch coming on that man, and he has every right to rather protest for that incident, because it seems like a player was already down on his own. And there's Matthews Shabalala, but the referee finds Makonka Afonso the one at fault, the one who pushed Matthews Shabalala. And the coach is in disbelief and just not happy with that situation and how the referee blew the whistle against them.
It looked a tight call from them, and it was a bit difficult for the referee to really spot that. assistant also not coming to the referee's aid there in trying to make that call. Call has been made. Zambia looking positive and looking to really get something out of this game.
I can tell you, man, Angola is just a few minutes away from getting it right, and us need to be composed and communicate more, and it's just share a few instructions with each other. And the coaches say, if your body is tired, apply your mind. Attempted to find Peter Chikola, who finds that man who's trying to get himself into the groove as well. That is Chipioka Songa. I haven't seen much of his existence in this game. Keeper stays down, and to have gotten a knock. He takes his gloves off. But,
comes on as a substitution for Nathan. He's done well, really trying to keep Zambians in possession, and came out, didn't read that well, collided with the Zambian player who had his eyes full onto the ball.
oh, look at us. So finally make it on screen. My. Okay. It's all said and done, but not done in the field of play. However, the players are just going to get a bit of a chit-chat. Their coaches, an Angolan coach would rather say, let us rather keep calm and keep composed. Yes, we considered a goal, but we just need to stay cool, calm, like this doctor himself, who was just within our colleague Lerato Pajo having a conversation. If I'm not mistaken, it's rather not him. Wind speed is 21 kilometers, and the temperature is sitting on 23 degrees Celsius. If you are Perry Mutapa, former Orlando Pirates footballer, it's a good old man, a good old friend of a lot of South African footballers. I can tell you, as delegates of COSAFA, and the referee's manager is also sitting there, is just sharing his word. Oh, the mask can be hot sometimes. You'd just put it right underneath your mouth and catch a breather and put it back on.
They've looked positive for the Zambians. They've really piled on the pressure. There's something that we're looking to really continue as this game will progress. Only 18 minutes left in this clash. It's still Angola that lead by 2-0. Can it end with the Angolans walking away with the bronze medal for the third time in the row, or will the Zambians have a say as they've been in terms as far as action has been concerned, especially in the second half? They've came out very positive and encouraging that they might get something out of this game. They've got a goal already. They'll be hoping to add to their tally.
Ball to Chipioka. Sango whips it in. It's cleared by Alidia Garcia. Wants nothing but clearing those balls out of the box, out of the danger zone, should we say. Just not giving room to that man, Derek Bulaya. Still again trying to clear it, but this time around he clears it into play, which is a bit of a risky play. Mutale. All intercepted by those fresh legs. Antonio Maunza fouled, and well, this is a smart foul coming from Derek Bulaya. He denied this young man Maunza the run.
Mwanza looking to use his pace, use his intelligence on the ball, but was fouled this time around. Caught for pace was Bulaya. Came on in the second half to really use the up front, had to really try and win position there for Zambia, but it wasn't to be for Bulaya. Gave a free kick away, opportunity for Angola to really get numbers going front. It's been Zambia that have been dominant in the second half.
A big man versus 15. Right there, here's a strike again from Antonio Maunza. It was just couldn't connect right there. Oh, it was Matthews Shabalala against Makonka Afonso. Would have wanted to see that battle, and who was going to walk away smiling. Always a body to body type of play. Well, it's not us referring to the song, we rather referring to one another, players pushing each other in the field of play.
15 minutes to go. Zambia looking to wind down the clock and try and contain the Zambians. Zambians are really looking very dangerous, seeming and unable to be contained.
Peter Chikola is one man who's trying to drill it in and force a handball as well. It's just unfortunate that Porfirio Abrantes is just a smart player. His hands and just kept them away, and there was no way they were to get a handball. Now here's a handball plus a goal kick, and decisive play, indecisive throw in coming from this man Peter Chikola, and trying to find this main man, his teammate Chipioka Songa, who then gets a handball plus an outball. So it was doubling it up because he was not sure why he opened the ball for the ball there. He could have waited for a long throw and to play it short. It's still Angola who will then look into keeping the ball and introducing this man Antonio Maunzi has somehow slowed down the pace of Zambia going forward, because he's more of a player who advances forward and dishes those passes wide. There's still an element of noise in the field of play. Now Mukeya claiming to be infringed, and the referee reaches for her pocket to give this man Porfirio Abrantes a yellow card from that showing of stars.
Two-footed challenge from Abrantes, very dangerous. Lucky to really be walking away with the yellow card there. But it is an opportunity for Zambia to try and get it into the box and maybe get level yet again in this match. It will be exciting to see how the last 15 minutes is gonna play out. Yellow cards count is 2 on each side, so a very dirty game thus far.
Joshua Mutale is still with Peter Chikola. We're going to look into finding those two tall men, the likes of Derek Bulaya and Matthews Shabalala, have pushed forward from centre back. That is Matthews Shabalala, to try and add that well-needed height. Well, it seems to be 4 players versus 7 players in the box, and they're just having 2 from Angola sitting out. Now nicely rolled for Mutale, and he tries to go for goal. But strength is just something that Alidia Garcia is producing. An offside call coming from the ref. And Alidia was opening up to Giovanni, and offside call was given. Perry is somehow thinking of another strategy, especially where he can utilize most of his substitutions. It's the last game of the tournament for them, so why not play every number that you have? Ball finds Chipioka Songa to Mutale. Mutale to Mukeya. Songa again rolls it to Mutale. Is going to look for that man who came on as a substitution. Gondra, unable to rather put it on his chest, and maybe could have struck a volley. And is Gondra.
Angola soaking up the pressure, sitting back and trying to wind down the clock is Angola. And for Zambia, they need to get that much needed goal and going forward and trying to see if they can make anything really happen. They've got 10 minutes to try and restore parity, and see if they can go on to the penalty shootout and get it.
Oh man, I can tell you that Angola can keep the ball, they can keep position, but they don't need to have Zambia now in the front foot, getting into the box. He has a chance for a header coming from Chipioka Song, who's almost brought the team back to life. So it's just unlucky getting that cross from Andrew Speary, and a diving header just waiting, going rather away from the frame of goal. And you must say that's a good attempt. A big man has put on a big hat and a big fight. That is a young man now coming out. That is just Benvido Miguel Andrea Afonso. Had a very good run, and Benedito Mukendi coming out to rather rest him. Has had a good first half, and a bit of the second half. Was just good to see him having that type of attitude in the game.
Bringing in a defensive midfielder for an attacking midfielder clearly sets out the mindset of Sobrino, the coach of Angola. What they want to do, they need to make it strong in the middle of the park. They want to keep it strong and tight, not allow the movement for Angola to really trouble them.
And it's a change of things. Benedito Mukendi will be sitting back and just helping defensively. There's really no need for him.
They've got Mukendi in the middle of the park. They've got the strikers that have dropped as Angola. So they're trying to contain Zambia as they come strong and come forward is the Zambians.
There's a chance. Zambia trying to create for themselves. There's Mutale getting that ball to the side. Now, can they get a crosser drilled in? Still the tall man at the back, just clearing everything. It is Alidia Garcia, who just keeps on keeping on at the back, and tells Tome. Some of the players we would rather say a credit to in terms of defending. They are normal, rather their usual win, that is the third place. Here's a cross played in, but cleared by Lydia Garcia. Andrew Perry, who's gonna take that throw in. Young man is down, is feeling Jose Cabangino. It is Cabingano rather. It's just requesting for the referee to give him a bit of attention. He needs medical assistance. Seems to be a never-ending argument. When he comes back in the field, he says, referee, I have an injury on my arm. All better ways of winding down the clock. And if you are rather under pressure, you can take on the heat to create a situation.
Cabingano wasting time on them.
Seems to be a bit of an argument with the Angolan bench. The fourth official with the coach of Angola can't seem to see eye to eye. They can't seem to agree. And Akona seems you would rather hear me out, and I would rather hear you out, but stay into your place. your technical area has been there marked for you. The coaches seems to be disagreeing with that, and knowing that Lady Akona Makalima is no nonsense taker. He's on with ball is tried to be drilled in to find a big man Derek Bulaya, who's unable to rather get it right. Jose Cabangano is back on the field. He's quickly jogging. Oh, again, there's this never-ending match. There's a she and a he. A corner, a she ref, and he is the coach. Trying to get some audio for you. That seems to have our mics a bit far from them. However, hand gestures say a lot too. The coach is not happy with the fourth official. A fourth official will have to implement the rules and regulations even to them.
Heated exchange between the referee and the official. It's a family show, so we certainly can't put words that were said there out there, but it's really quite an obvious one. They're not happy with some of the decisions that are being made.
Now here's an opportunity for Zambia to rather score. However, cleared away. That's well inside, just now playing their mind. As Porfirio Albantes that's poking away immediately there. There's a good pass played from the throw-in, trying to get Chipioka to rather whip it in. It's an interesting play for them, forced to cut back, and now Angola just floated over the defense. Time-wasting tactics coming from Giovanni Cavallo, winding the clock and saying it's just push forward. Push forward, my teammates. We will get this right. Ball is played long, and Shabalala Matthews is rather comfortably heading it to Patrick Schumer. And, back to Shabalala, who's going to look into launching long because the Jimmy Mukeyas are sitting up front, and Chipioka Songa is also just adding to be that third striker. The full backs coming in to put in those crosses. If you can just check, the left back Peter Chikola is also pushed high, just waiting for that ball. So adding numbers is what they want. And a ball intercepted in the center by Antonio Maunza. He's very cool, calm and relaxed. He just finds Ambrosini Salvador. Cross played in, but is rather a foul.
Try to get around his man on there. Salvador using his arm unnecessarily. He is now a joint top goal scorer in this tournament. Salvador is sitting on 3 goals and joins Sinochongo. 5 other players that will be competing today have a chance of getting their hands on that coveted goal scorer accolade for the tournament.
Ball played in the danger zone, and Angolese are just ball watching and forced to go to Shabalala, who finds Peter Chikola. And it's a 1v1 and a good guidance, good monitoring there, just not fouling him. This man eventually goes down to rather a foul. Played quickly, but the referee says there's a rather wait to play to the whistle. Well, it's all about the chances, and the clock is ticking. Well, it's all about tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Joshua Mutale would rather go for a goal in this instance. Aims to have the first pole exposed, and the referee is still blowing the whistle every now and then. He never has a free-flowing game. That's the referee, second time of his experience. This style of refereeing coming from Letitia Viana. There's a ball going in, but a big man at the back. Makonko Afonso coming all the way from a striker to just help his team defend this one.
Where they're looking to be winding down the clock as Angolans. They're really getting about it. They're desperate to keep the lead, and Zambia are also desperate to come forward. Both teams have just 4 minutes to really get that goal. For Zambia and for Angola, they just have 4 minutes to hold on to the lead.
Mumba still finds a Mutale strikes, and a deflection almost gave the keeper some heart palpitations. Almost got the keeper's heart racing there. He was just caught napping. Luckily, it went over the crossbar. Now played quick again to Mutale, who's got a better view, but still goes in and deflects from the player's knees. That is Makonko Afonso, and cleared away from the danger zone. Jose Cabangano. And it's 4 minutes additional time, and Angola would want to keep the ball, would want to rather wind the clock and take the ball out whenever they can, if it is times like this. Here's a patient build up coming from the left hand side. It seems to be not working. Likes of Isa Kasembe, also players on the far side. And Mumba, he's a player we know that he's quite solid in the center. Cross denied by Abromicini Salvador.
If you're trying to wind down time, keeping the ball is very essential. Ball possession becomes a very crucial part of your game. Angola are not keeping the ball on their feet rather. They're not allowing themselves to try patiently build out from the back. They're allowing Zambia to keep on piling the pressure on them.
You have Angola just sitting back deep, and numbers. There's a chance that would help them defend better. Now Mutale in the open area, there he goes for a strike. Not too much power, not too much venom coming from that one. Nothing to trouble Giovanni Cavallo. I've tried many things, young man. Well, the substitution is taking place. That main man, Camila Ngongwe, will be making his way. And this man will be coming on. That is Afonso Obinga.
Well, the referee should stamp her authority in this, guys, and she's got cards that she can give out. And just out of your picture there is slight an argument between the referee as well as the player supposed to come out. Camilo Ngokwe, his name has come up on the board. And Mokonko Afonso are going down in looking for treatment, and is claiming that he really can't move. So he's got his feet locked. The stretcher will come on for them.
Well, situation here, what is picking up, that Makonko Afonso sat down while they were trying to make the substitution. And the intended substitution was Camilo Ngongwe, who was just not sure if he should walk out of the pitch, because had he walked out of the pitch, then he wouldn't have walked back in. And so the coaches opted to change the substitutions and bring on this man, Afonso Binga, and rather change from Camilo Ngongwe to Makonko Afonso, who then is coming out. Well, the coach has played his mind throughout this game. His tactics are also very tricky, because his technical area was all up in on their feet, just trying to argue with the fourth official that he must stay on the pitch, and he kept on saying, I'm coming out. So a bit of a confusion has happened there. Well, the 4 minutes has elapsed. We now wait to see if the referee will then give this man a bit of a minute or two to maybe make contact or touch the ball. Or if you walk out without touching the ball, I don't see him washing the jersey because it was still clean and smelling fresh. That is Afonso Ubinga. The ball is launched long, all waiting in anticipation that the referee will blow the whistle, forgetting that they wind down the clock with a lot of arguments. The cross was played in by Antonio Maunza, was unable to find Ambrosini Salvador. The players who just put in the work, the Domingos and Rabis of this match. Still also one of the players who says I'm staying down 2, and the referee again blows the whistle to say hold up, Patrick Schuma. Hold up, you need assistance, rather roll out if there's anything up to go by.
Using everything they have at their disposal in trying to buy time. Just a clip, nothing really happened. He didn't really have to be then animated in his reaction, is Andrade.
There's a chance for Andrew Upiri to whip in across. That's denied by the man on the side. That is Camilo Ngungwe, who was meant to go out. Now Andrew Piri just going down, and the referee says it is what it is. I've had enough. It's fine, youngsters. You rather have won as Angola, and Zambia just unable to get themselves scoring that equalizing goal, or get them maybe sealing themselves that bronze medal. Giovanni Cavallo was one of the players to be noted in this match, and coach is having a chat with Akona Makalima, who's just up in smiles and says it's all over, coach. We really cannot debate it any further than this.
Angola have managed to hold on to the game and managed to walk away victors. They get crowned with they get given the bronze medal after finishing by 2-0 against Zambia.
And we can tell you that Angola brought the house on fire. They wanted the goals, and Zambia also tried to just get themselves in the game. The likes of Bulaya came on. That was just unlucky. They couldn't rather score their chances when they caught them. But here's a big man who just unleashes shots from out of nowhere. That is Makonka Afonso. With his strength and long legs, he was able to just disturb the defense of Zambia.
It was a physical game between the two. Got a penalty, made sure that he launches it with power, precision, and top corner targeted. The keeper well beaten.
Well, a penalty somehow thought it would bring them back in the game, but there's a whole different story, even though the Andrew Piris of this match whipped in crosses to the box. The likes of Elliot Kampuseka with a diving header, which was unfortunate. It went away from the frame of a goal, and they couldn't score that goal. Let's see that Chipioka Songa was also one of the players that could have maybe gotten a goal. But here's another combination play that deflected, but it really didn't trouble much the keeper, even though it is a warning sum from Joshua Mutale. The statistics of the match is just saying goal attempts are sitting on 14 for Zambia, 7 that is Angola. Number of fouls 30 completed by Angola. But unfortunately, no red cards, 2 yellow cards each Ball position was 42 and 58 for Zambia.
Angola has claimed the bronze medal in the COSAFA Under-20 Youth Championship. Our player of the match goes to Benvindo Afonso. Benvindo, first and foremost, congratulations. How did you find the overall tournament?
Bem-vindo. Antes de mais, parabéns pelo prémio do melhor jogador em campo. Qual é a tua opinião em relação ao torneio, no seu todo?
Foi bom torneio para todos nós. Isto que está aqui, é bem que não era o nosso propósito, era chegar à final, mas não conseguimos. Então isso foi um dos objetivos, pelo menos conseguir alguma coisa. E estamos aqui, conseguimos, em prol da equipa toda, conseguimos chegar até aqui.
First and foremost, thank you very much for welcoming us. Our main objective was, of course, getting the gold medal, but that wasn't possible. But still, we wanted to honor our colors and the tournament itself, so we are very proud as a team, and we'll make sure we always put up a good show for everyone.
Congratulations on the victory today and the overall standings in the COSAFA Under-20 Youth Championship.
Parabéns pelo terceiro lugar e pelo prémio de bronze.
Muito obrigado.
Thank you.
We are now joined by the coach of Angola, Coach Enrique Sobrinho. Coach, appreciate your time. Let's talk about the game. The team finished third. It really felt like a final.
Parabéns, antes de mais. Conseguimos o terceiro lugar e tiveram a impressão de esta ter sido a final. Quais são as suas impressões em relação ao jogo?
Bom, desde que a competição começou, nós vimos as demais equipas. Acredito que para além de nós tem Moçambique e África do Sul, que para mim, naquilo que a competição desenvolveu, foram as 4 melhores equipas. E hoje foi prova disso, foi uma autêntica final. Parabéns à Zâmbia pela qualidade que apresentou, mas acima de tudo nós pela qualidade tática, mental que tivemos para passar aquela malapata de não conseguirmos ir à final e conseguimos fazer um grande jogo. Está de parabéns Angola, esses jovens rapazes.
We can resume our participation in this tournament in a very proud way. We believe Mozambique, Zambia, Angola, and South Africa were the teams that showed better football on the field. We are proud of the way we demonstrated our discipline in terms of tactics and our mental toughness. We wanted to break this kind of a hoodoo of not going to the final. It wasn't possible, but we are satisfied with the third place and extremely proud of the boys.
Let's talk about that. The team always finishing up in third. I mean, mentally, what does it do to the players? Because now you have this thing that keeps on happening where people can now refer to you as the bronze specialist.
Vamos falar bocado sobre esta questão de Angola ser conotada como uma especialista na medalha de bronze. De que forma é que podemos ultrapassar isto e que impacto é que isso tem na mente dos jogadores?
Bem, acredito que é um problema que nós devemos trabalhar, acima de todo aspecto mental, porque sabemos que é uma fase que está sendo difícil para nós. Mas futebol é isso. Pode ser que da primeira vez que passamos dessa fase, vamos à final e também podemos conquistar o campeonato africano. Vamos acionar esse mecanismo mental.
Basically, as you said, we have to thrive on our mental toughness, but at the same time, we have to congratulate every opponent that we have faced. So this is all about fair play. We have to congratulate everyone that plays against us, but we will make sure we will thrive on until we reach our success. And when we reach that success, we will not stop there. We will try and get further and further and further.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay.
Obrigado, COSAFA, por ter realizado esse torneio, bom torneio. E acredito eu que a África precisa cada vez de mais torneios desse tipo para evoluir os jogos.
the guys. Like I said earlier on, I think this is a developmental tournament. We gave 5 newcomers in today's game, and I think they applied themselves well. You can talk about a player like the one who won the penalty, Chipioka Songa, is only 17 years old. So the most important thing, I think, yes, we wanted to win, but it was about giving these other guys a chance so that going forward, the development, you shouldn't be stuck with development. But I should also say it was a good game of football because I think the weather and the stadium was okay. I think in Africa to develop, I think when we played that side, I think it was some teams which pumped the ball. I think maybe they have gone to the finals because of the wind. So for me, I'm happy to be here to play good football because this is developmental football. I know even back home in Zambia, when we go to a bad pitch, I always complain. But who am I if Piso can complain he goes to play at Dobsonville Stadium? So the most important thing in Africa is first we have to look about the pitch, and then from here, then that's when we develop. It's about development, this youth tournament. So let's look where we can have our matches played in a good way, because I think this was pass and move. Equally our opponents, I think they did that. All the boys expressed themselves in a good way, and that's African football. And I think if we do the right way, football will improve in Africa.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Zambia finished third for the third time in a row after clinching a victory. Angola rather finished third for the third time in a row after they finished third in the past 2 editions of COSAFA. The next game, it is the finale between Namibia as well as Mozambique. We find out who will lift the prestigious trophy, and it is the 5th time that Angola have finished third in the COSAFA Under-20 Youth Championship. Is it a hoodoo that they need to break? But here today it was all about getting a victory against the defending champions, last year's champions in the COSAFA Under-20 Youth Championship. Well, that was the first game, the starter, with the main event shortly to follow in the finale between Namibia as well as Mozambique. Do join us for the build-up for that one.